All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new DC update. And as you could tell by the title of the video, I do believe that the Batman Part 2 is on the verge of getting canceled. And we're going to take a look at a bunch of things that have been posted over the last couple of days in regards to the Batman Part 2. And I'm going to talk about where this may lead. We're also going to look at some comments James Gunn has made on social media over the last couple of days that are a big contradiction to statements he's made in the past. And Alan Tudyk is playing yet another character in Creature Commandos, which makes 3. And we're going to take a look at that, and we're going to talk about why that could be happening and what I think is weird about that whole situation. So let's jump into today's screen grabs. Now, I do have a couple of photos here, or screen grabs, that I meant to show a while back. They actually did do basically a thing on eBay. It was a thing to help raise money for vets. And it was 2 tickets to the Superman film premiere and after party. Now, if I had the money, I would have done this. You could see only 79 bids on this, and it just reached $20,000. So this person paid $20,100 to go to the 2 tickets to the premiere and after party, which is only $10,000 per person. And all of the proceeds, that go above and beyond what they would have had to pay for the tickets and the food, the lodging, whatever it is, all of that goes to vets. Guys, if this universe was as big as people are expecting it to be and as popular as some would lead you to believe, this would have been a lot higher than this. Only 79 bids. I could tell you that if I had all the money to spend in the world, even though I'm not super excited for this, I would have gone to this, if nothing more than to pay back and help out vets. Homes for our troops. So I'm really kind of disappointed that it was this low, but James Gunn was thankful for the people that did bid for this. It was an auction for this, and I really wish it would have done more, because that's a low amount of money, and there's a lot of people out there who have money who could have done this but chose not to. Now we start getting into a little bit of, the Batman news. It says, someone said Matt Reeves is the slowest MF ever. This is really going to get delayed again. And Aaron S. Bailey, who is an artist online, if you guys are not following him on social media, you should. The guy's amazing. He said, I don't think it's Matt. And I would agree with that. And we're going to look at some other things. Now, this is kind of old that I grabbed a while back, but there were a bunch of screen grabs that I somehow skipped in my previous updates. But the good news is we have a lot of recent ones to look at that I just grabbed over the last 24 hours. Now, John Baker posted this, and I thought this was interesting. This comes from the person who originally posted this was Unbiased Snyder fan. It said, Nolan made all of these in the time frame it took Matt Reeves to pump out 2 Batman movies. And it could be more than that. But look at all these films. You have Interstellar, The Dark Knight Rises, Inception, The Dark Knight, The Prestige, and Batman Begins. All in the time that would have taken Matt Reeves to write the Batman 2. If you believe all of the rumors out there that Matt Reeves is the one holding this up, look at all these films that the great Christopher Nolan had put out in that same time frame. And I'm getting sick and tired of people saying that Matt Reeves is just slow at writing scripts. Well, then why would anybody want to work with him? Because it has been almost 5 years by the time this starts filming, if it does start filming in 2025, 5 years since the other one started filming. That is a huge gap, guys. That is a huge gap in terms of movies, especially when they had 3 movies planned out, supposedly. And yes, I would agree this is just sad. But we have more to look at. All right, so this is the first new one that I have here. It says Jeffrey Wright, who played Commissioner Gordon in the first Batman film, is excited to return for the Batman 2, but reveals he hasn't read anything, nor has he talked to Matt for a while. So what exactly is going on behind the scenes? We have all these people telling us that they're ready to go, but that there's no script and they haven't talked to anybody actively in regards to this. And I can tell you that all of these people have agents, and there should be some communication going on in the background. And the fact that there's not says a lot. Here is a Peacemaker Season 2 piece where it says, Steve Agee teases an epic storyline set in the DCU for Peacemaker Season 2. More characters are involved this time, and it's a massive story in a massive world. I think anyone who likes Season 1 is going to love Season 2. Yeah, well, the first season was disgusting, juvenile humor. It was just a disgusting show. And so, again, the only reason this got a Season 2 is because James Gunn is the CEO of the studio. Because Season 1 did not stream as well as people would lead you to believe it did. This news also came out, which does make sense. Rick Flag Sr. is going to be the head of Argus in the DCU, says Frank Grillo. He is supposedly going to be the connective tissue that ties everything together from Creature Commandos to Superman to Peacemaker, that he is going to be in all of it in one degree or another. But Argus is going to be a huge part of the storyline going into the DCU. Now, I thought this was pretty funny. James Gunn posted, always love to visit local comic shops when I'm in a new town. Odin and Sons in Savannah, Georgia. He's in there acting like he reads comics. First of all, I don't think this is genuine. I think this is a PR stunt. I totally see that. And somebody posted, was he visiting comic stores before becoming the CEO of DC? Just asking. And I would agree with that. Somebody also pointed out that he has the time to do this, but he doesn't have time to go to a Comic-Con to promote DCU stuff. And I would also agree with that. He is definitely not acting like the CEO of DC Studios. I hope this is genuine, but I am guessing this is just a PR stunt and nothing more than that. So somebody asked James Gunn, do you think that within the next 2 months or so we'll hear official announcements for the greenlit or near greenlit unannounced projects you teased in the Creature Commandos interviews? James Gunn said yes. And I think that would make sense. I think they're just waiting for some of this stuff to be released. I don't think we're going to hear anything major until the Superman trailer releases and seeing what the reception is on that, as well as Creature Commandos tying up. So I'm guessing late January, maybe early February, before we hear anything major. Now, this is a picture by Mikkel Janin, and I thought this was a great picture of Superman. I figured I'd share this. If you're going to have to do red trunks, this is how the suit should look. It's not baggy. It doesn't look like a jumpsuit. It doesn't look like he's going, diving in the ocean. It doesn't look like he's going to go motocrossing. He looks like Superman. And I really wish this is what they would have done with David Corenswet if this is the route they were going to go. All right, somebody posted, what is going on at DC? And they first posted the first thing I talked about with Jeffrey Wright, how he's excited to return to the Batman 2, but hasn't read anything. But they also posted a separate thing where it says, Robert Pattinson reportedly had a meeting with Kevin Feige for a possible role in the MCU. And that comes from Daniel RPK. Now, we don't know if this is true. It's just a rumor. But if he's doing that, then he's not going to have time to do the Batman 2. It's like some of these people could be starting to move on to other things. That does not paint a positive sign for the Batman 2, and I fully believe James Gunn does not want the Batman 2 to go forward. And I've said this since the beginning. Until it starts filming, I will not believe that it is ever going to get made until it actually goes into production. Now, next week, Superman and Lois ends after a 3-year run. It said it will be the final DC show to air on the CW. And we're going to look at how popular this show is here in a minute. It's another screen grab I meant to post last week, but somehow it got lost in the mix. Also, James Gunn posted this morning. It says the Christopher Reeve story now streaming on Stream on Max. And so if you guys have not checked this out, check out this documentary. It is definitely worth watching. One of the better films I've seen this year. It should win Best Documentary of the Year. Extremely well done. If you're a fan of either Christopher Reeve or the original, Superman, you definitely need to check this out. So here it is. Elizabeth Tudyk posted this. She plays Lois Lane on Superman and Lois. Superman and Lois is currently the 5th most watched show in the world on Max, according to Flix Patrol. Now, none of these are 100% accurate because Warner Brothers does not give out streaming numbers. So there could be a lot of different things, but this is supposedly a worldwide taking, and it is number 5. You got Harry Potter, Wizards of Baking above that, like Water for Chocolate above that, The Penguin above that, and Dune Prophecy above that. So I haven't watched Dune Prophecy just yet. I did like the 2 Dune movies, but I haven't checked out Prophecy yet. If you guys have seen it, chime up below and let me know what you guys have thought of it, if it's worth the time to check out. Now, this is interesting. Somebody said to James Gunn, will you ever do a release schedule like Feige for the MCU, or will you just say another movie is in development when it starts? James Gunn said it won't be exactly like Marvel because nothing is greenlit before we have a finished script. Now, a lot of people took offense to this, and I do to a degree, and we're going to talk about what this means. It depends on what other screen grabs I've pulled, but just remember this if we get to the end, and there isn't anything else in regards to this, because I want to talk about what exactly this means, but I'm sure I grabbed some other stuff here. Now, I thought this was interesting. James Gunn confirms Peter Serafinowicz, or Wicks, will voice Dr. Victor Frankenstein in Creature Commandos. He did voice that character. They always do. It's strange that this is coming out now when they always record the voices before they ever do the animation, guys. That's how it works. So he was in this from the beginning, and it's strange that they're just announcing this now, but he is an exceptional actor. So here it is. Alan Tudyk has been cast as William Magnus in Creature Commandos. Magnus created the Metal Men. So this is the 3rd character, and we're going to see what other 2 characters he is voicing here in just a few minutes. Now, here's a little bit of comic news, and I thought this was interesting. One thing that is going to be coming up very, very soon, early next year, is going to be Hush, Part 2, running through Batman for 6 months. It's going to be instead of 12 issues, it will be 6. But you have Loeb coming back as well as Lee to do the art. Loeb will be writing it, and Jim Lee will be doing the art. So it is an official Hush number 2 storyline that will run for 6 issues. And then the rumor out there is that DC Comics is going to relaunch Superman number 1 and Batman number 1 in 2025 alongside the new movie and Hush 2 conclusion. There have been a lot of talk about this. I was talking with my local comic shop about this, and they've heard rumors about this too. But nothing is set in stone just yet. When they tend to do this, I was talking to my local comic shop, it messes with the collectors. And some collectors just won't latch on to the newer stuff, which is unfortunate. I really do think as long as there's a purpose behind this, I'm okay with it. But they have done so many relaunches over the last 15 years. It's getting a little bit ridiculous at this point. But this means that Hush 2 is going to have some major repercussions in the DC universe, at least for these 2 characters. Now, this is the other James Gunn screen grab that I'm glad I picked up. James Gunn, again, on Marvel Studios announcing projects. The DCU won't be exactly like Marvel because nothing is greenlit before we have a finished script. So this person said, so alternatively, you are going to announce projects, get people excited, and then potentially just never make them? Which is true. And if this is the case, because they did announce that whole Slate 1 release, and Bailey, the art guy, I don't know if I grabbed his photo, but he made a comment about this as well. And I'm going to trail back to this because he did have that whole announcement that you can actually watch on YouTube, which is crazy. So here it is. Alan Tudyk will voice Dr. Will Magnus of the Metal Men in Creature Commandos. He's also voicing Dr. Phosphorus and Clayface in the Max series. Series premieres December 5th on Max. Now, here's the weird thing about this, guys. When a voice actor gets hired, if you have multiple roles in that project, you get paid. The way these people are union members, and the way the union works, you get paid for each individual character that you play. So why is James Gunn not having different voice actors come in to voice some of these characters? Are they doing it? It can't be a money issue because there are rates that they have to meet within the union. So what is the purpose behind this? And I will tell you, Alan Tudyk is a very talented dude. The guy is good at what he does. He's right now he's one of my favorite actors. I actually have a photo in the other room that I took with him at our Comic-Con here a few years back. And he was a great guy to meet in real life. I really like this guy a lot. But why are they not using other voice actors? Why not spread the love? I told you I've said this in the past, there's a lot of people that will not work with Warner Brothers, and they refuse to have anything to do with James Gunn until something is done with the studio. I've shared that in the past, where there are actual insiders in Hollywood who said there are a bunch of creatives who want nothing to do with Warner Brothers. It is a fact. All right, so Aaron S. Bailey did post on Twitter the other day that comment about James Gunn, but then he posted a link to the slate announcement by James Gunn for all of those projects. And he said, then what exactly is this? Now, a lot of people came to James Gunn's defense saying those weren't greenlit, those were just announcements. And they are two separate things. I do want to make it very clear that greenlighting something means it's going into production, whereas announcing something is something they plan on doing. But even James Gunn himself said they may announce this stuff, but if they don't ever come up with a good script, it'll never see the light of day. Then what the hell are you doing? That is the exact same regime that Warner Brothers used to be. Do you know how many times at the Comic-Con they announced all these DC projects and never went through with any of them? And now you're doing the exact same thing? And you're trying to build the confidence of the fans and your audience and getting people to go into theaters? And you're announcing a bunch of stuff that may never happen? Don't even announce it. Don't even announce it. I don't think this bodes well for the Batman 2. Now, if you guys know, there's one other YouTuber, Slav, who him and I just do not agree on DC in any way, shape, or form. And what's crazy is he posted something on Twitter in regards to, James Gunn, and that the DCU is off to a great start because we have 3 projects that are now completed. You have Creature Commandos, you have Peacemaker Season 2, and you have Superman. And I said, those are all Gunn's projects. And he's like, well, he's the CEO. And I told him it goes beyond that. He's not just the CEO. He is the writer and the director of almost all of those projects, except for some people who had directed Creature Commandos. It's all about James Gunn. And I said, this can't be all about James Gunn. And I said, I talked about the Batman 2, and he even admitted, Slav even admitted, he wishes that the Batman 2 gets canceled as well. You're not a DC fan then, okay? If you are hoping that all of these projects get canceled for one singular vision, you are not a true DC fan. I say the more the merrier. I never said don't do James Gunn stuff. Have his stuff be something separate from what the DCEU was and actually allow that to continue to get a proper conclusion. If you had done that, you would get more people. You would have the support of the fans. But that's not Warner Brothers. That has never been Warner Brothers. And I keep talking about this ever since the 80s. Warner Brothers has not been they don't care about the fans. They don't care about these characters. They are constantly shuffling stuff up, and James Gunn seems to be shoveling the same bullcrap. So I do have a strong suspicion that the Batman 2 is never going to move forward. I have a strong suspicion that by the end of all of this, the only thing running is going to be the DCU until something happens with the studio. And I don't think people are going to be flocking to the theaters the way they think they are. All right, guys, so there's my big update for the day. I do appreciate the support. If you haven't already, like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you will be notified as I have new videos go up. We'll see you on the next update.